Hi. Welcome to the History House. I'm Ahmed Saeed and you are watching the History of the 18th of October on your favorite The History House YouTube channel. Please like this video and subscribe the channel for the importance of the day, success stories as well as the failure stories around the world on daily basis. October 18th is the 291st day of the year, 292nd in leap years, in the Gregorian calendar. 74 days remain until the end of the year. Alaska Day is a legal holiday in the U.S. state of Alaska, observed on October 18th. It is the anniversary of the formal transfer of the territory of Alaska from Russia to the United States, which occurred on Friday, October 18, 1867. Peter of Alcantara was a Spanish Franciscan friar who was canonized in 1669. He was a man of remarkable austerity and poverty who traveled throughout Spain preaching the gospel to the poor. He wrote a treatise on prayer and meditation, which was considered a masterpiece by Teresa, Francis de Sales and Louis of Granada. While in prayer and contemplation, he was often seen in ecstasies and levitation. In his deathbed, he was offered a glass of water which he refused, saying that even my Lord Jesus Christ thirsted on the cross. He died while on his knees in prayer on October 18, 1562 in a monastery at Arenas. The Independence Day of Azerbaijan is the main state holiday in Azerbaijan. It is celebrated annually on October 18. Violent crackdowns took place on January 19 to 20, 1990, which is known as Black January. On October 18, 1991, the Supreme Soviet of Azerbaijan adopted a constitutional act on the Declaration of Independence of Azerbaijan. The declaration was confirmed by a referendum in December 1991. Persons Day is an annual celebration in Canada, held on October 18. The day commemorates the case of Edwards v. Canada Attorney General, more commonly known as the Persons Case, a famous Canadian constitutional case decided on October 18, 1929, by the Judicial Committee of the Imperial Privy Council, which at that time was the court of last resort for Canada. The Persons Case held that women were eligible to sit in the Senate of Canada. While not a civic holiday, several women's groups across Canada make significant note of the day, including the Women's Legal Education and Action Fund. The International Menopause Society (IMS) is a UK-based charity. The association was created in 1978 in Jerusalem during the Second Menopause Congress and currently has members in 62 countries. In addition to organizing congresses, symposia, and workshops, the IMS owns its own journal, Climacteric, the Journal of Adult Women's Health and Medicine, published by Taylor and Francis. World Menopause Day is observed on 18th of October. 320 Pappus of Alexandria, Greek philosopher, observes an eclipse of the sun and writes a commentary on the great astronomer Almagest. 614 King Clothar II promulgates the Edict of Paris, Edictum Clotarii, a sort of Frankish Magna Carta that defend the rights of the Frankish nobles while it excludes Jews from all civil employment in the Frankish kingdom. 629 Dagobert I is crowned King of the Franks. Dagobert I, Latin, Dagobertus, c. 603 the 19th of January 639 AD, was the King of Austrasia, 623 to 634, King of all the Franks, 629 to 634, and King of Neustria and Burgundy, 629 to 639. He was the last king of the Merovingian dynasty to wield any real royal power. Dagobert was the first of the Frankish kings to be buried in the royal tombs at St. Denis Basilica. 1009 The Church of the Holy Sepulchre, a Christian church in Jerusalem, is completely destroyed by the Fatimid Caliph al-Hakim by Amr Allah, who hacks the church's foundations down to bedrock. 1016 The Danes defeat the English in the Battle of Asandun. The Battle of Asandun, or Asendjun, was fought between Danish and English armies on 18 October 1016. It ended in victory for the Danes, led by Canute the Great, who triumphed over the English army led by King Edmund Ironside. The battle was the conclusion to the Danish reconquest of England. 1081 The Normans defeat the Byzantine Empire in the Battle of Dyrrhachium. The Battle of Dyrrhachium took place on October 18, 1081 between the Byzantine Empire, led by the Emperor Alexios I Komnenos r. 1081–1118, and the Normans of southern Italy under Robert Guiscard, Duke of Apulia and Calabria. The battle was fought outside the city of Dyrrhachium, present-day Durrës in Albania, the major Byzantine stronghold in the Western Balkans, and ended in a Norman victory. 1356 Basel earthquake, the most significant historic seismological event north of the Alps, destroys the town of Basel, Switzerland. 1540 Spanish conquistador Hernando de Soto's forces destroy the fortified town of Mobile in present-day Alabama, killing Tuscaloosa. 1561 In Japan, the Fourth Battle of Kawanakajima was fought between the forces of Uesugi Kenshin and Takeda Shingen, resulting in a draw. 1565 Ships belonging to the Matsura clan of Japan failed to capture the Portuguese trading carrack in the Battle of Fukuda Bay, the first recorded naval battle between Japan and the West. 1599 Michael the Brave, Prince of Wallachia, defeats the army of Andrew Bohori in the Battle of Olimba, leading to the first recorded unification of the Romanian people. 1648 Boston Shoemakers form first American labor organization. A trade union, or a labor union in the US, or a union in Australia, is an association of workers forming a legal unit or legal personhood, usually called a bargaining unit, which acts as bargaining agent and legal representative for a unit of employees in all matters of law or right arising from or in the administration of a collective agreement. 1748 Signing of the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle ends the War of the Austrian Succession. 1775 African-American poet Phillis Wheatley is freed from slavery. Phillis Wheatley, also spelled Phyllis and Wheatley, c. 1753 December 5, 1784, was the first African-American author of a published book of poetry. Born in West Africa, she was sold into slavery at the age of 7 or 8 and transported to North America. She was purchased by the Wheatley family of Boston, who taught her to read and write and encouraged her poetry when they saw her talent. 1775 American Revolutionary War, the burning of Falmouth, now Portland, Maine. 1779 American Revolutionary War, the Franco-American siege of Savannah is lifted. 1797 Treaty of Campo Formio is signed between France and Austria. The Treaty of Campo Formio, today Campo Formido, was signed on 17 October 1797, 26 Vendémiaire vie, by Napoleon Bonaparte and Count Philip von Cobenzl as representatives of the French Republic and the Austrian monarchy, respectively. 1851 Herman Melville's Moby Dick is first published as The Whale by Richard Bentley of London. 1860 The Second Opium War finally ends at the Convention of Peking with the ratification of the Treaty of Tientsin, an unequal treaty. 1867 United States takes possession of Alaska after purchasing it from Russia for $7.2 million. Celebrated annually in the state as Alaska Day. 1898 The United States takes possession of Puerto Rico from Spain. Puerto Rico officially the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, Spanish, Estado Libre Asociado de Puerto Rico, lit. Free Associated State of Puerto Rico B, and from 1898 to 1932 also called Puerto Rico in English, is an unincorporated territory of the United States located in the northeast Caribbean Sea, approximately 1,000 miles (1,600 kilometers) southeast of Miami, Florida. 1912 First Balkan War, King Peter I of Serbia issues a declaration to the Serbian people, as his country joins the war. 1914 The Schoenstatt Apostolic Movement is founded in Germany. The Apostolic Movement of Schoenstatt German, Schonstadtbewegung, is a Roman Catholic Marian movement founded in Germany in 1914 by Father Joseph Kentenich, who saw the movement as a means of spiritual renewal for the Catholic Church. 1921 The Crimean Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic is formed as part of the Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic. 1922 The British Broadcasting Company, later Corporation, is founded by a consortium, to establish a nationwide network of radio transmitters to provide a national broadcasting service. 1929 The Judicial Committee of the Privy Council overrules the Supreme Court of Canada in Edwards v. Canada when it declares that women are considered persons under Canadian law. 1944 World War II – Soviet Union begins the liberation of Czechoslovakia from Nazi Germany. 1944 World War II – The state funeral of Field Marshal Erwin Rommel takes place in Ulm, Germany. 1945 The USSR's nuclear program receives plans for the United States plutonium bomb from Klaus Fuchs at the Los Alamos National Laboratory. 1945 A group of the Venezuelan armed forces, led by Mario Vargas, Marcos Pérez Jiménez and Carlos Delgado Chalbo, stages a coup d'état against President Isaías Medina Angrita, who is overthrown by the end of the day. 1945 Argentine military officer and politician Juan Perón marries actress Eva Duarte. 1954 Texas Instruments announces the first transistor radio. Texas Instruments Incorporated (TI) is an American technology company headquartered in Dallas, Texas, that designs and manufactures semiconductors and various integrated circuits, which it sells to electronics designers and manufacturers globally. It is one of the top 10 semiconductor companies worldwide based on sales volume. The company's focus is on developing analog chips and embedded processors, which account for more than 80% of its revenue. TI also produces TI digital light processing technology and education technology products including calculators, microcontrollers and multi-core processors. The company holds 45,000 patents worldwide as of 2016. 1963 Felicette, a black and white female Parisian stray cat becomes the first cat launched into space. 1967 The Soviet probe Venera 4 reaches Venus and becomes the first spacecraft to measure the atmosphere of another planet. 1977 German Autumn, a set of events revolving around the kidnapping of Hanns Martin Schleyer and the hijacking of a Lufthansa flight by the Red Army faction (RAF) comes to an end when Schleyer is murdered and various RAF members allegedly commit suicide. 1979 The Federal Communications Commission (FCC) begins allowing people to have home satellite Earth stations without a federal government license. 1991 The Supreme Council of Azerbaijan adopts a declaration of independence from the Soviet Union. 2003 Bolivian gas conflict Bolivian President Gonzalo Sanchez de Lozada is forced to resign and leave Bolivia. 2007 The former Prime Minister of Pakistan and daughter of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, the 9th PM of Pakistan, Benazir returned to Pakistan after living 8 years in London and Dubai in a self-imposed exile. 2 months later she was assassinated in a bombing while campaigning for the forthcoming elections. 2019 NASA astronauts Jessica Meir and Christina Koch take part in the first all-women spacewalk when they venture out of the International Space Station to replace a power controller. Births on this day, the 18th of October. 1987 Zac Efron, American actor, singer. 1984 Lindsey Vonn, American skier. 1960 Jean-Claude Van Damme, Belgian martial artist, actor, director. 1921 Jesse Helms, American politician. 1919 Pierre Trudeau, Canadian politician, 15th Prime Minister of Canada. Deaths on this day, the 18th of October. 1973 Leo Strauss, German, American philosopher. 1931 Thomas Edison, American businessman, invented the light bulb, phonograph. 1871 Charles Babbage, English mathematician, engineer, invented the difference engine. 1744 Sarah Churchill, Duchess of Marlborough. 1541 Margaret Tudor, English wife of James IV of Scotland. Thanks a lot for watching the History House YouTube channel. Please like this video and subscribe the channel for latest stories on daily basis.